If you gentlemen feel better talking about this in a more secure setting,
I'll start by saying
we can work on that as well.
Congressman, thank you for the question. Give me 20 minutes in a skiff and I'll convince all of you. I know where the bodies are buried. I know the cabinets to look in, the questions to ask, and the people to subpoena. I will say that this is a global campaign and it's focused on attacking our people, the best of our people.
Electromagnetic pulses, yeah, they try to test behind closed doors, but nothing but the guests. Silence brings us while they sit back amused. I've had the nights, but the chill runs deep. They're taking pieces of my mind, no time for sleep. They experiments, they hide under veil of light. In the darkness, I'm a pawn in the fight. In the webs of the wicked schemes, life on autopilot, lost in fractured dreams, memory fading like shadows on the wall. I hear their laughter haunting, watching me fall. A game of human chess, and I'm just a piece. I've had the nights, but the chill runs deep. They're taking pieces of my mind, no time for sleep. They experiments, they hide under veil of light. In the darkness, I'm a pawn in their fight.
Then Biden says, mark my words, in the future you will rule on putting microchips to control people.
Correct.
That's coming up here in a moment. But obviously that's what the corporations want is control of us. This is what they've done.
Agenda 2030. Rockefeller lockstep.
All right, here we go. It's going on Biden.
Scans often give things you didn't expect.
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that.
And often they're things you don't know what to do with. UBOs, they're called, unidentified bright objects.
Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior?
Neuromarketing, a little scary concept there, trying to assess when people are responding effectively to certain kinds of advertising or branding.
And Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make.
All right, so let me do an overhead shot. This is today, Infowars.com. UK expands Online Safety Act to enforce preemptive censorship for priority offenses with pre-crime. So they're not going to arrest you or ban you or detain you or fine you. Keir Starmer, that protects all the pedophiles, with pre-crime. It's here.
Yeah, we're already there. And you notice this was in 2005. They were already talking about putting these
20 years ago
in people. And you noticed that was Francis Collins, who was head of the NIH. He talks about...
I confronted Collins about a year ago at the airport.
UBOs, unidentified bright objects that they're finding in brain scans. And what he's referring to is these microchips. And then he testifies and he goes on to say, who decides what type of chip you get to decide whether you're going to be a sanitation worker, a police officer, or a doctor or a scientist? This is how crazy and insane this is. And they've been pre-planning this for a long time. So they are now playing God. You no longer have autonomy. You will no longer have a decision.
The final revolution that Obama talks about.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mike?
And this is what you mentioned earlier, Alex, about predictive programming. Everything Jesse just mentioned. Has anybody ever seen the movie Demolition Man?
Yes, excellent.
Right? So
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, they get out and all of a sudden he has the urge to knit a sweater and Sandra Bullock looks at him and says, well, that's part of your rehab program, John Spartan. because he's never done it before, but they actually programmed him to do that. You know, 2005, that video came out that you just saw, but there's even earlier shows like in the show The X-Files where they're actually chipping people in the X-Files and they're making them do things that they would not normally do because the chip is inside them doing something. So they've always led up by showing you what they're going to do first and kind of easing the blow. And people say, well, I've seen that in a TV show and I've seen that in the movie. So,
and obviously they're not going to come out and say, take the chip.
Right.
That comes later when we battle to get the new best chip, you know, with Neuralink or whatever. No, they just roll it out.
Well, they make it seem like a good idea first. It's good for your pet. So, you know, your dog, if it gets lost, we can find it easily. Right. So they sell it as a good idea first while they're doing all this nefarious stuff in the background.
And while we're worried about UFOs, we should be worried about unidentified bright objects.
Correct.
There's a government report right there.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's even the Russians or the Cubans doing this. The CIA wants to keep tabs on its own people. They're being used as test subjects.
Well, back in 2010, that's strongly what we hypothesized. But now I think someone out there believes they won the game. So they've been able to do this straight in our face. They're not hiding it. It's out there. And a good friend, Dr. Rima Lebeau, who you're familiar with, she's been on your show before. Actually,
her husband was the head of Army intelligence.
Yeah, she's actually in the next trailer for Nano Sapiens. This might be a great time to show everyone what that's really about.
Yeah.
How long is the trailer?
I believe it's about 3 minutes.
Let's go ahead and roll the trailer.
What my husband was involved in, Major General Albert N. Stubblebine III, in the creation of remote viewing was called Project Stargate.
First series of experiments here at Stanford Research Institute were what the scientists called remote viewing.
This project that was announced on day 2 of Trump's presidency, Operation Stargate.
Stargate project, I think, is going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all.
Was a direct import from the Biden presidency, unchanged except for the name, the same $500 billion investors, the same project, the same structures, and the buildings are already under construction. That doesn't happen in one day.
We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while and with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20, and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location.
Why call it Stargate?
It began as a code name, and sometimes code names stick.
It's all about information, but the intention is different.
Hi, I'm Christine Ulm, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
The globalist intention from the Biden administration to the Trump administration to track, trace, control, and interfere with every activity of humankind is underway. Project Stargate was about gathering intel that was needed for the defense of the country. This is about gathering information that is needed for the destruction of humanity.
Wow, well, I didn't realize you just exclusively premiered this. What an amazing film. Died suddenly, reached over 100 million people. This is amazing. Tell us more about the film and when it's coming out.
Well, we're still working on production. We have some really exclusive, exciting information to disclose. We're hoping that it's going to lead to a solution for humanity to save our human species. But as soon as production's done, I know Edward Sazal and his team are working diligently to get this done, but the wheels are turning and everything has to come into play. So we're hoping within the next 6 months.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And so many of these clips I've seen, but I forgot. I mean, this is out of the open. And again, the original Stargate project, it's not the Stargate show about going to other planets. It was a CIA remote viewing.
Out of SRI, out of Stanford.
Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Yeah, well, let's come back and talk about Stargate and talk about all that right now, because this is so important. This is a massive project.
Yeah. Well, you know, we used the remote viewing aspects. They were using it to to spy on the Russians because they thought they were ahead of us. And that's really what this insipidus of this is all about.
Because you said it, and that's what Dr. Begich found. His brother was a senator and father, famous congressman. They did all this mind war testing about the 90s, said, we got to drop this because most people turn against us is too powerful.
Correct.
So instead they said humans are dangerous. We need to just turn them into robots.
Correct.
Right.
All right, stay there. Jesse Beltran, Mike Grady, straight ahead. Hour number 4.